Shalom everyone, and welcome back. This week's Torah portion is the portion of Bechukosai, and it begins by saying, Im Bechukosai Telechu, if you will go in my ordinances, Mishpasai Tishmaru, and you will guard my commandments, my mitzvos. And then what will happen as a result of that? The question is, why does it seems to repeat it? Im b'chokosai telechu, you'll go in my ordinances, mispasai tishmaru, and my commandments you will keep. It seems like going and keeping is the same thing, but actually they're quite different. Going means doing them. You'll keep my ordinances, and mitzvosai, and my commandments tishmaru you shall guard or watch. What does that mean? You will guard and you watch. Well, it means that make sure that the Jewish people will keep the commandments, not just do them, but they'll make sure that for generations to come, they will keep them as well. Because throughout history, there have been people both inside the Jewish people and outside the Jewish people that have prevented Jews from keeping the mitzvos. And we found that throughout history, in the times of persecution, very often the persecutors would not allow the Jewish people to keep Shabbos, to keep bris milah, circumcision, to have a Passover Seder, to observe the holidays and these types of things. And they tried very hard to get Jewish people not to do mitzvos. So our job is to guard them and make sure that we do them and make sure that we do not succumb to these foreign elements. And as far as the inward is concerned, there have been Jewish people also, and Jewish movements, who have tried to prevent us also from following the commandments, especially, for example, in the 1800s, the Enlightenment movement, which sought to assimilate the Jewish people into non-Jewish society, and they tried to do that in many ways. When Jewish people spoke Yiddish, they tried to get them to speak German or Polish or the language of which they lived, and in that way, hopefully, to get them to stay away from Judaism. They tried to not have our kids go to Jewish day schools, go to yeshivas, but rather that we should send our children to Gentile schools and therefore being inculcated in their ways. In the 17 and 1800s, the armies of the Tsar sought to draft young Jewish boys from very young age into the Russian army. And these young men were kept there for over 20 years. And in so doing, hopefully, they tried to get them to stay away from Judaism. These little boys were called the Cantonists. And the Lubavitcher Rebbes were very instrumental in bringing Judaism to these little children and to try to inculcate Judaism into them. Throughout history, we have had forces that have tried very, very hard to dissuade Jews from practicing the commandments of the Torah. And they have not been successful. In fact, they have failed throughout history because Torah and mitzvahs is strong and Torah and mitzvah stays alive. Someone mentioned to me once that if you go into a community and you ask who is a Jew over here, you'll very often see many Jews standing up. If you'll ask, are there any Hittites over here, or any Canaanites over here, or any Philistines over here? Not one. They don't exist anymore. They really don't. And it's because of the Torah that the Jewish people have stayed strong and proud, because we have kept the mitzvahs of the Torah. As we are approaching the holiday of Shavuos, which will take place on June the 11th at night, and the 12th and 13th, in which we commemorate the giving of the Torah at Sinai, and we experience a giving of the Torah of our own at Sinai every single year. Let us remember these important words. Candlelighting in San Diego is at 7:34. We want to wish you all a good Shabbos.